Q2 just ended, and game developers have already released some incredible games. Mobile gaming had a little bit of a decline last year on the world stage, but it is still by far the biggest gaming platform on Earth. The problem, of course, is that there are too many games to choose from, so let's get into the top 10 mobile games of Q2 for 2026. As usual, this video is not talking about the top charts of Google Play and iOS. Most of those games are trash, and the ones that aren't have been around for years. Rather, this video focuses on the AAA games that you will only hear about from your friends. Except, hopefully in this case, I will be telling you about them first. The first game on our list is Minishoot Adventures, an action-adventure game that combines arcade-style shooting with open-world exploration and light Metroidvania structure. You control a small spaceship and navigate a handcrafted world filled with hidden paths, environmental puzzles, and increasingly difficult combat encounters. The core gameplay loop draws from the Metroidvania format, meaning that map access expands based on acquired abilities or completed objectives, while the combat system operates on bullet hell mechanics that require consistent movement and pattern recognition. The game presents its setting and story through environmental design rather than exposition. The second game on our list is Dungeon Warfare 3, a tower defense game. Its primary mechanical distinction from genre standards is terrain editing, where you place tiles to shape the battlefield before and during enemy waves, determining how attackers move through the dungeon. This interacts directly with trap placement because routing enemies through specific paths affects which traps trigger and in what sequence. The trap roster is larger than in previous entries, and each trap can be upgraded and modified. Experience earned from completed levels feeds into a permanent progression system that carries across runs. Enemy variety has been expanded, and individual enemy types require different defensive responses. The game includes both handcrafted levels and a procedural generation system intended to extend replayability beyond the fixed content. Adjustable difficulty settings also allow encounters to be customized without disrupting the overall balance of the game. The third game on our list is Pokémon Champions, a battle-focused entry that brings the core Pokémon battling experience to mobile devices through two primary competitive formats. Ranked battles place you against global opponents in a structured skills-based environment. Casual battles offer a lower stakes alternative for players who prefer a less competitive experience. The game also supports private battles, which allow matches between specific invited players. The core design appears centered on accessibility and broad player reach, prioritizing straightforward entry into competitive play regardless of familiarity with the wider Pokémon series. The fourth game on our list is System Ascension Idle Core, an incremental strategy game built around an artificial intelligence stranded on an unfamiliar planet. The central premise frames resource management as the AI's effort to establish and expand a functioning planetary energy system. You work through interlocking power sources that draw from physics-based concepts including gravitational forces, tidal mechanics, and quantum energy models used as thematic scaffolding for the upgrade and automation systems underneath. Progression follows the standard incremental structure where players optimize resource output, balance competing upgrade paths, and trigger chain reactions that multiply production rates over time. The fifth game on our list is Merchant of Skies, a strategy game centered on managing an airship and conducting commerce between floating islands. The core economic loop involves buying goods at low prices and selling them where demand is higher. You gradually expand this operation by purchasing islands and establishing production chains that generate income without requiring constant input. Navigation between locations is automatable through a caravan system that handles routine routes once they are established. Beyond trade mechanics, the game also includes a moderate exploration component where players encounter story characters and environmental variety across different island locations. New regions introduce different resources, characters, and objectives that gradually expand the scale of the world. The sixth game on our list is Gambonanza, a turn-based roguelike that applies chess mechanics to a reduced board format. The core systems revolve around gambits, which modify the normal rules and interactions between pieces. These effects introduce unusual combinations and alternative strategies that push the game beyond standard chess logic while still maintaining a strong tactical foundation. A reserve system lets players hold pieces off the board and introduce them at chosen points during play. The board itself can be modified through various tile types that affect movement, protection, and positioning. Boss encounters are present and designed to test whether a player's current build holds up under pressure. Progression is non
non-linear and replayable by design. Presentation remains approachable through clean pixel art and a playful visual style that contrasts well with the demanding strategy systems underneath. The 7th game on our list is Crawl Tactics, a turn-based strategy RPG that operates across 2 distinct modes. Dungeon mode uses procedurally generated maps that vary between runs and place the player in sequential room-based combat encounters across environments like ruins, caves, and forests. Quest mode shifts the focus to town management, where you construct buildings, assign mercenaries to missions, and periodically defend against monster invasions on a turn structure. The combat system accounts for elevation, unit-facing direction, terrain type, and weather conditions. Environmental interaction is a notable mechanical layer. You can ignite terrain, electrify water tiles, and use push or throw actions to reposition enemies into hazards like cliffs or blade traps. Traps including cannons and ballistas can be activated and chained. Character development allows full class customization with a reset system that remains available even after advancing to higher tier classes. The 8th game on our list is Meg's Monster, a story-driven turn-based portrait JRPG. The game follows Roy, a nearly invincible monster, and Meg, a lost human child whose emotional state directly affects the fate of the world. Combat introduces an unusual dynamic by shifting the focus away from survival. Roy begins overwhelmingly powerful, making direct defeat unlikely. The real challenge comes from protecting Meg and keeping her calm during battles. If she becomes frightened and starts crying, encounters can quickly spiral into disaster. This creates a distinct rhythm where emotional management becomes just as important as combat decisions. Each battle includes unique mechanics and small interactive elements that help maintain variety throughout the journey. Meg's toys and reactions also play a practical role during encounters, reinforcing the connection between gameplay and story progression. The 9th game on our list is Nubby's Number Factory, a roguelike built on a Plinko-style physical drop mechanic, in which a spherical character named Nubby is launched down a pegboard to generate numerical output. The game's core loop is number scaling. Current output funds systems that produce larger output, which funds further expansion in a compounding cycle characteristic of the incremental genre. A quota system structures each run by setting a production target that you must reach, providing a functional win and fail condition that distinguishes the game from purely passive idle titles. The narrative framing is intentionally absurd, positioning the player as a low-level factory employee whose number production is causally responsible for preventing the sun from exploding. This framing is comedic rather than meaningful to the mechanical systems. Item selection is the primary strategic layer, with over 50 distinct items available to combine into synergistic configurations that multiply output in ways that can vary substantially between runs. The 10th game on our list is RogueSlide, a turn-based dungeon crawler that combines sliding puzzle mechanics with roguelike progression and tactical decision-making. The core interaction involves swiping to shift the entire game board in a chosen direction, which simultaneously moves your character, repositions enemies, and reorganizes available loot and hazards. Because every swipe affects all elements at once, each decision carries positional consequences that compound over the course of a run. Runs are designed to be short and are procedurally varied, making the game well suited to brief play sessions. A daily run mode provides a fixed challenge that refreshes each day. Progression unlocks additional characters with distinct mechanical behaviors, along with weapons, spells, upgrades, additional areas, and alternate game modes that expand replayability over time. So those are the top 10 mobile games of 2026, but I do have 3 more honorable mentions for you. The first one is Vohenn, a 2D action platformer that follows Metroidvania structural conventions. You control Vohenn, a character who survives a shipwreck and finds himself on an island whose elemental protections have collapsed. The central objective involves uncovering the history of the shattered harmonic stone and the circumstances that destabilize the island. New abilities gradually unlock access to previously unreachable areas, encouraging careful observation and backtracking. The world is non-linear, allowing freedom in route selection while maintaining a clear sense of direction through a clean and readable minimap system. Progression systems, including skill upgrades and equipment improvements, allow steady customization and for some variation in combat approach. Optional activities such as hidden chests, time challenges, and environmental puzzles add depth without disrupting pacing. These elements reward attention and reinforce the value of exploration. The second honorable mention is Astris, a 3D sci-fi RPG showcasing stunning visuals and engaging gameplay. You'll play as Jan, an investigator from Earth, tasked with exploring the vibrant world of Olinda. One of the standout features of Astris is its innovative combat system, which combines elements of both real-time and turn-based gameplay. Players have the opportunity to time their attacks strategically, allowing for counter maneuvers and devastating combo attacks alongside allies. Each character in the game boasts its own unique backstory and set of skills, adding depth to both the narrative and gameplay experience. Unlike traditional RPGs that rely heavily on random battles and grinding, Astris offers a more streamlined progression system that emphasizes skillful gameplay over mindless repetition. Success in battles hinges on the player's ability to master timing and strategy rather than simply relying on brute strength. It's a bit of a unicorn in mobile gaming, and I haven't seen anything like it this year, which is why I wanted to mention it. The last honorable mention is Slime Rancher, an upcoming adventure game that follows Beatrix LeBeau, a rancher who relocates to a distant alien territory to build a functional slime ranch from an abandoned property. You use a vacuum-based tool called a vac-pack to collect slimes found throughout the environment. Each slime type has distinct dietary preferences and care requirements that affect how they are managed on the ranch. The world contains several distinct regions, including the dry reef, the moss blanket, and the indigo quarry, each with its own resources and slime populations. Revenue is generated by selling slime byproducts on a market system or completing requests through a range exchange. That income funds ranch expansion, including corrals, gardens, coops, and cosmetic upgrades to the main structure.
Well, that's it, guys. Hope that helps. This list is obviously centered around just Q2 of this year and is more designed for subscribers that have watched each month. If you are new, make sure to check out my top 10 games for the platform that you are interested in. This playlist has all of them. All right, guys, I'll see you next time.